Hello there everyone and welcome to a new playthrough. This is Gain Ground, the 1991 Sega Genesis game. It's a bit of an interesting one. Most of the games, most games are pretty easily put into a specific genre, horror, puzzle, platformer, etc, etc, etc. But Gain Ground really is its own very strange, unique thing. I'll see whether I can kind of show you what's going on as we do this first world. Now, effectively, Gain Ground's objective is you gotta go and get through every level in the game, defeating enemies with a cast of many characters, while rescuing new ones. So you start out with a roster of 3 characters. This guy with a gun, there's a woman with a pistol and a grenade, and then there's this spearman. But as you collect those sprites on the ground, they're a bit unclear as to who they are, to be entirely honest, but each of them represent one of 20 different characters in the game. There are a lot of characters here. And every time we reach the exit with one, we unlock them in our roster. As you can see here, the last one was this technologically advanced knight sort of character. So our goal is to get through all of the levels in the game in the proper time and all the rest of that, while collecting as many of these characters as we can, and then without losing them. Because if we get hit by any enemy attack, we lose the character that we are playing as, or the character we are playing as is dropped on the ground and we have to go and rescue them. So you have 2 options of beating a level. You can either defeat every enemy, or you can get every character to the goal. At this point in the game, it's usually easier to kill every enemy, but I'm sure that later levels, the argument's going to be more in the favour of sometimes you just want to get to the goal with all of your remaining characters. So yeah, the general gist of the game is to try and beat all of these levels without getting hit, and while also collecting every character you possibly can. Now, the character we unlocked there was very important. It is this dwarf character, and he is probably, I've read a couple of guides on the game, and I am in agreement with them, he is probably the best character in the game. He is very important. He's very quick. He's got decent range with his arrows, which he can fire out very quickly, so he can defeat a lot of enemies in the same place if they start to bunch up. And he is also capable, as you can see, raised ground. He is capable of firing up there and attacking that way, which is something that not a huge number of characters can do, and especially not as easily as he can, because his is pretty good. A lot of characters, even if they do have them, they're pretty bad. Now in this case, we just want to defeat all the enemies. There's no point getting to the exit with everyone. It's faster and easier to do it that way. Now, with this one, I think we probably want to go with the spearman. He is quite good in short range because he can fire out his attack very quickly, so he can clear out lots of enemies as they come near him. He is also capable, like the dwarf, of attacking upwards, attacking at higher ground. He can fire out a spear in a parabolic arc like that, so he can hit enemies over walls or up slopes like them up there. But his main purpose is just to be very quick and mobile, and with a good melee attack. And he's very good in that role. So we don't want to lose any characters, frankly. We want to try and minimize our losses as much as possible, which is, obviously increasingly difficult as we get through the game. But in these initial stages, I practiced them enough that it's not too bad. Right, in this one, we want the rifle guy, because he is also a fairly fast attacker, but he is the character with the best range that we've currently got. And some levels are pretty straightforward. This one's not too bad. You just need to have the right character to make sure that you can hit some of the more annoying enemies from a distance. But some of them are more puzzle-like. They put you in labyrinths, they put you in strange locations that you really have to kind of struggle with figuring out who you're going to put out, how they're going to move around to be able to defeat the enemies without getting into too much danger. I don't know why he's not just going back to where he's supposed to stay, but there we are, pretty easy. So some characters are very much there to defeat a lot of enemies, other characters are there to wipe out a lot of enemies at once. Now this is probably one of the tougher stages in this first world, which is like a Stone Age simulation, where effectively a bunch of fighters in a sort of virtual world which has been taken over by an AI. It's like a history simulation kind of thing. So, from what I can gather, it is the future. All of these characters that we're playing out are technically people from the future. They're not like, you know, actually Viking, samurai, whatever. They're all just playing a part in a very complex simulation which has been taken over. You know, kind of Skynet, Terminator style. I guess Sword Art Online, I guess. I haven't actually watched the show, but I'm under the impression that's kind of the plot. But yeah, this one's kind of tough. These knife-throwing enemies are just a pretty annoying group. I found, and obviously we want to try and collect both of the characters we have on the sides of it, which further throws wrenches in our plans. I find the best thing to do is keep that one knife thrower in the corner. So we definitely don't want to get rid of him. Yes, because his range, as much as he is dangerous, his range isn't fantastic. So once we're in that position, we can take out this guy to make the job for our next character easier. We'll make it this girl, because as much as he can throw over walls, he can only do it directly in front of her. So just calmly stroll over here, pick up this character who will be very useful in a later stage, and just slowly trot our way to the exit, making sure to go as far right as possible to avoid hitting the knife wielder. Right, now we get this guy up, because of course he's got the best range, he's got the best chance of making his way through these arrows without getting hit. This one's a bit nerve-wracking, but there we go, we got him. And with that, I think this guy is a ninja, if I remember correctly. He's not great, to be honest, but like I said, every character is a life effectively, and I don't think they spawn multiple times in a playthrough, or if they do, they're quite rare. So you just want to get everyone when you're given the opportunity to do so. I don't really want to get close range with him, so we'll try out the Tech Knight guy. He's got like this energy blaster thing. His range isn't great, but he should be good enough just to kind of sneak in and kind of snipe his foot. We've got 8 characters here. That's pretty good going, to be honest. This is a bit of a strange level. It's really easy for something that's this far in. A lot easier than some of the stuff they threw us, like the last level. I think it's more just a test to see whether you've still got this guy in your roster, because if you do, he can just fire through and just destroy these lines of enemies no problem before they can get anywhere near him. And again, no point going for the exit, we'll just defeat all of the enemies. Like so. And done it very quickly. Round 8. This is the point where you get this new enemy type, this sort of demon master thing. He's really annoying to deal with. I think we're going to want someone quick. I think we might end up sacrificing this spearman, but the problem is it's not just him, it's also all of the guys that spawn on the sides of the arena, so you end up with a ton of things being fired at you. Yeah, some projectiles, their hitboxes are not quite as clear-cut as they look. Like, it definitely feels like I'm hitting this demon with some of the spears when I'm not. And then it also looks like I'm missing, and then not. they don't have huge amounts of health, especially if you hit them with the right weapons, because different weapons do deal different amounts of damage. It's not just range and power and all the rest of it. I think the Spearman does particularly low damage, to be honest, but he should be going down shortly. There we go. We're going to want to try and figure out how we can weave around enemies to go and grab this guy in the corner. He's not a great character, but we'll get him anyway, just for the sake of it. And then we'll just use the dwarf to go and take out the small number of remaining enemies quickly and easily and safely enough. I think they're all just runner guys like this. Yeah, there we go. It's always a bit nerve-wracking to see the demon enemy, but it is what it is. The Spearman's also useful in this stage, because there's a lot of enemies that will rush you in kind of melee range, and then you've also got these guys on the walls. And seeing as there's no one out there to collect, it's better on our end to just take out all of the enemies with a single character. Yeah, the parabolic spear especially is very kind of tricky to aim. It really doesn't land where it looks like it does. Oh, come on. I've definitely hit this guy several times by that point. There we are. Take out this wall as well. It's always a bit nerve-wracking having a lot of enemies near you, but it's not too bad. Again, I'm definitely hitting these guys more than the game's making it out like I am, but there we are. Right, and now we can hit some grounded enemies. Again, quite easily. Ah. Alright, with that, we want to just get someone who can move through very quickly. I think the ninja's quite quick. So, we definitely don't want to lose the dwarf character, the spearman. We don't want to lose any character. The dwarf especially is probably the one that is like our highest priority, keep him alive. But yeah, just, we don't want to lose anyone. It's difficult to replace them, and some of them are invaluable. If nothing else, it's because they're a good kind of part-way point to a better character. So yeah, don't want to lose anyone. But I say the dwarf, the spearman, and then the guy with a rifle at the moment are our highest priority. Gotta keep them alive characters. There we go. One more stage in this episode, in this first world, this medieval stage. Each of them ends with a unique final boss. I have found that I think the rifle characters are best bet here. He deals decent damage against the demon characters. He can also shoot through them once they're defeated because his range is good enough, so he can deal with the bowmen to an extent if they don't run away. And he's just mobile enough that he can move away from the fireballs without getting kind of stuck. And yes, the strafing attack especially is very useful. I was originally trying him out with the guy that we rescued in the fortress level, but once I found out that this guy has the strafing ability, it's really, you can go for either, especially when you can hit the demons through each other, so you can kind of do that. And they can't get anywhere near you. There we go. With that, I think the final one should be awakening when that guy's defeated. Yes. And yes, it's the fact that we can strafe with this guy, so we can fire out directly forwards like this and still move side to side that makes him invaluable in this fight. The guy that we collected in the castle level with all of the knife throwers in it, he has a very long range rocket launcher, fireball launcher thing, which I was originally using to kind of like snipe the guy from the other side of the arena. But he is also very slow. He's easily the slowest character we've got. So it was quite often I was getting hit by fireballs before I was getting to that point, so it wasn't worth it. We'll just go with the rifle guy. And with that, we move on to the next world, which takes place in medieval times. It's a big step up, in all honesty. Enemies now take twice as much damage in a lot of cases, especially, at least the melee characters do. So it is a lot trickier than what we've just gone through, but we should be able to make our way through in the next episode. So, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're looking forward to more gain ground in the future. But for now, adios and ciao.